Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Thursday night episode of Movie Club. Excited to be back out on here and getting some more friends out onto the channel to talk to about movies, things that got going on, things they're interested in, things they're passionate about. Yeah, it's just a good time to get to know people a little bit better and dig into what they all have going on. So, with that said, thank you everybody that's jumping in here tonight. I'm not going to waste any time. We'll get going here, but we got on here tonight. We got Hagan, also known as Bryce.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Um, I did the same thing with my channel. We were talking a little bit at a time, and I did the same thing. But I appreciate you jumping on here, man. So,
Oh
how are you
yeah.
doing tonight?
Doing good. Like I was telling you, just busy, but yeah,
Yeah.
doing good. Had a solid day of work and just kind of, ready to unwind and chill a little bit. But yeah, it's been a decent day, decent week too.
Yeah, sounds good. So I know I've gotten to know you through chat and or in live stream chats and things like that, and it's been fun through this whole crazy YouTube or Instagram or anything like that, like running into cool people, talking about movies, talking about things we're interested in. I know that was the first time I've kind of bumped into you was in other people's live streams in the chats and um, but yeah, so I know you've been digging into that a lot. One thing that always interested us, I think a few of us in particular, um, I know a couple times I was doing live streams with Anthony. Anthony is Horror More and Gizmo.
Oh yeah.
uh, we even not calling you out, but we pulled up your Letterboxd account and we decided we were going to look at some of your ratings. But really impressed of the movies you were digging into. So. Um, but yeah, what's anything in particular right now you're digging into that you're watching that you're really excited about?
you know, I haven't watched a lot this week. I've just been so busy.
Yeah.
The last thing I watched was Swamp Thing. I watched that Sunday,
Oh,
and
nice.
that was a it was a good watch. Definitely kind of corny, but 80s horror that I like. I know I mentioned I've been digging into the James Bond franchise
Oh,
recently.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun franchise, and I know recently they did the 4K releases of Sean Connery's films, and I bought the first three because we're talking about Groove. They had a deal on a lot of the Bond movies. I bought the first three, standalones, and after watching those, I just I fell in love with them, and I've continued to watch them. I think they have them on Netflix at the moment, so it's kind of a good way for me to watch the other ones and see if I like them enough to want to buy them. But yeah, to get back to the main point, yeah, the Bond franchise, it's kind of a I guess those are some movies I've been digging into recently that I really like.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a franchise that I really enjoy that I grew up with, and it's kind of funny. It depends on when you hit that, what age you are, or which ones you saw first, or whatever. But everybody has like their Bond. It doesn't mean you don't like the other ones. But do you have a Bond yet that you're just like that's my Bond?
Yeah, because I'm so. I mean, I'm a young guy, so it's like getting, I'm Gen Z. I'm getting into this. I don't yet.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Connery, I loved him. Growing up, I did watch a lot of the Indiana Jones films. Of
Yeah.
course, he's in the third one, and that's where I really kind of got to know him as an actor and what he could do. And right now, I mean, I get Sean Connery's the only ones I've seen. But I definitely have a few other actors I got to dive into. Pierce Brosnan, I know you probably
Yeah. Yep.
remember him. Daniel Craig, and then I think Roger Moore, and there's a few other
Yep.
actors, but I don't really have one at the moment, and I don't know if it's been talked about in the news. They're developing a new, Bond series where they're going to, cast another actor. So, that could be my favorite actor, favorite Bond actor. Who
Always
knows?
stay
But
open. Always stay open to it. You
yeah,
never.
who knows? But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really have one right now. Yeah, it's kind of, it's up in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like some of those, it's when you hit it. The age I am, and when I start, the first ones I watched, and some of the first ones I saw in a row were all Roger Moore. So I
Okay.
always kind of think of him, but it's hard to go wrong with any of them. Yeah, it's a great franchise in my opinion. But
Yeah.
and I know I'm super professional. My dog is barking, so you might hear him saying hello at some point.
Hey, you're good. You're good. I got a dog in the other room here, and you may hear barking as well. So I
Well,
mean,
okay, well, they can
we
say
got
hi to each other.
yeah. No, it's all good. It's life. You're gonna have things going on in the
Yep,
background.
absolutely. Hey, I'm going to run through really quick. I see a few chats popping up, and I'll kind of pop back and forth between them. But just to say hey, really quick, we had Anthony in here saying yo yo
Anthony,
yo.
yeah,
Good to
heck
see
yeah.
you, man. Like I said, some of those live streams were the first ones I've bumped into you in the chats, and so that's pretty cool. We got Adrian James in here saying hello, Corey. Good to see you. And then when you talk about Anthony, you can talk about Allie as
Allie,
well.
Allie, she's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
She's like you talking about Letterbox. She's like I think one of my biggest fans on Letterbox. Like she's always liking my reviews and everything, and I just appreciate someone actually reading them. But yeah, she is awesome.
Great
Yeah, she's
supporter.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's a sweetheart for sure. But yeah, saying what's up, fellas. We got Holland Oates in here saying hey,
Holland,
Corey and hey,
oh yeah,
Hagan. Good to see you. Got Meek in here from Double Feature Podcast saying hey, everyone. Great channel member. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support for sure. We got Sashi in here saying greetings, everyone. Sashi, I know everybody always calls you the man from the future, but you're probably into the next day by this point. So he's different time zone than us.
oh wow,
So we'll put a star in that. I'll try to jump back and forth. It's always a fun thing with live streams, trying to balance. I want to talk to you. Was excited to have you on here, and but also, the reason you do live streams is having the people in the chat jumping in and hanging out and talking too. Like I said, bumped into you in a lot of live stream chats. Have a lot of fun doing that. I still do that, but do you do you still find yourself when you have time being able to jump out and even if you're stealth watching, sometimes I do that too, where I can't actively engage with the chat, but I'll be listening along.
yeah, oh definitely. Whether I'm driving somewhere or sometimes at work because I kind of am able to have access to my device, my phone. But a lot
Yeah.
of times, yeah, like when I'm driving certain places, I definitely try to tune in. Because I'm not watching, of course. It's kind of like a podcast. You're
Yeah,
listening to
I
it.
do that too.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, no, every now and then, yeah, like if I'm home, if I'm not doing anything, I definitely try to leave some chats in the live stream for sure. But not recently. I've actually been. It's funny. I love the replays for a lot of streams you have. I've been actually listening to a lot of your the Friday streams you do, the
Oh,
Friday break, like your
my
lunch,
random all over the place lunch
yeah,
streams.
like your lunch break streams.
Yep.
I've been
Yep.
listening to those actually like the last couple weeks, just like
Oh,
going through
cool.
your old,
Thank you.
yeah, and, like going through your old ones and just listening to the
Yeah.
replays. It's kind of like a podcast. So I like that, and be able to kind of just hear what you have to say and the chat and whatnot. But
I'll do that as well. I'll do that as well, like for a lot. But Sashi was saying, 8:07 a.m. Friday for him. So our man from the future. And I'll just say hi quick till we got Jimmy in here, Scottish Geek guy, saying howdy, folks. And saying just after midnight in his
golly,
location.
wow.
So thanks for jumping in and saying hi. Anthony was saying, what up, Sashi, Mika, Kira, Adrian. He's just saying hi to everybody, sharing the love around. All right. Oh, don't get too steamy on my stream here. But no, he's saying hi to Allie there. But no, so that was one thing that was kind of cool for us. Like sometimes there's some hobbies or what do you call it, a hobby or interest, whatever, with movies. There's some of us that really got into it, grew up with it, going to the theaters, renting movies, before streaming, if you can believe that, we're that old. Uh, but it's really cool to see people that are younger that jump into that and dig into things before them, because I'll say I turned my nose up older movies that were before me for a long time, and then I finally was like, there's some really good stuff out here, like finally allowed myself to watch some of those things. Do you remember not necessarily older than you, or it could be current time or when you were a kid, or like more recent, but do you have any movie or anything that really you remember kind of pulling you in and really like sucking you into like this is cool, like the movies, like going to the theater or whether it's at home whatever.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as a kid, my dad, you know, you watch kind of like what your parents watch a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kind of what they're watching, you know, in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
um, definitely, I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I grew up loving. I fell in love with movies. I'd say with the Indiana Jones, the first, you know, three films. The fourth one came out when I was a kid, so I kind of, I think I'm sure I don't remember a lot of it, but I'm sure my parents took me to the theater, you know, theater to watch the fourth one. But um, I just remember growing up loving those films, especially Temple of Doom. I mean,
Yeah.
it's for a kids movie. It's not the most maybe appropriate, but I loved it. You know, it's kind of got that, you know, that horror element in there that I
Oh
love,
yeah.
and that's kind of that's a movie I had, you know, was rewatching over and over and over again. I think I still have a DVD of it, along with the, you know, the 4K and whatnot. But I'd say those films, you know, the adventure films like those, and then I'd say also, um, probably trying to think, Jim Carrey. My dad
Yeah.
loved Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
The Ace again. These films probably shouldn't have watched as much as a kid, but the Ace Ventura films, you know, it's got some moments, you know, it's adult humor, you know, something that a kid can't
Yeah.
pick up on. But I'd say the Ace Ventura movies, those are movies that I kind of have, you know, a bit of an, you know, a nostalgia for, even though I wasn't, you know, around when they came out. But I remember rewatching those constantly growing up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh,
But
I,
yeah,
I will say that I think a lot of us have whether it's a mom or dad or aunt or an uncle or older cousin or brother whatever uh, introducing us to some films that maybe were a little early for us to, but you ended up really enjoying them
yeah,
and
and
go
one
back
more.
to it.
Yeah, and one more. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but the Goonies. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah.
that's a movie like I'm so thankful for that. My mom, she actually showed me that one, and that's just such a. I mean, that's a iconic movie to watch
Oh
as a
yeah.
kid growing up, you know. And that I'm so thankful that they showed me that as a kid, because that's just a movie that I don't know. It's timeless, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those classics that holds up, and I don't know. It's a time that feels so sacred, and it's, you know, I got to do kind of that as a kid as well. Thank goodness, you know. I got to kind of ride around the neighborhood on my
Yeah.
bike, you know, and kind of going on little, you know, mini adventures and whatnot. And I think that's still around, of course, but I definitely know, maybe not as much as it used to be, but it kind of has that you know that the adventure vibe as a kid. You know, it just has a lot of things that you can resonate with that I really enjoyed. But yeah, the Goonies too. That's another one that I just absolutely adore. But
I would agree. Absolutely love that one. That was when I got to see it in the theater.
oh,
I'm
I'm
old enough,
jealous.
so
Oh wow.
you have to watch. It's
Oh,
what's the cool thing is I think I'm in a very small market, so it doesn't happen as much with me. But some of the theaters are doing the classic or the
mhm.
anniversary runs of some movies. I think that's very cool to do that to go back, and whether you're revisiting one you saw as a kid or you weren't born or you weren't old enough or whatever, like you can actually see it on a big screen. I really love that they do that, and
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's a good thing that they do too. It can help maybe put some more you know bottoms in the seats,
Yeah,
get
I think
some
it's a
tickets.
great.
So
Yeah, I think it's great. Because I've watched Scarface in the theater,
yeah.
Christine,
Oh
Into
nice.
the Dragon. Trying to think of the more recent one I watched, The Shining. You know, they had it in IMAX back in November, December of last year. I went and watched that, and that was
Nice.
awesome. Revenge of the Sith, you know, Star Wars. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love when they do that, and I wish they would do it more. My goal is to. Speaking of Indiana Jones, the first three films, I definitely at some point want to see those in a theater. That's kind of like a bucket list, you know,
Oh
type of
yeah.
thing. And I think I'll have a chance to. I definitely think those are films they'll definitely put out. It may be like you said in more bigger areas, which I'm in a small market as well, but um, I definitely can be able to drive to certain, you know, potential places. But yeah, I love that when they do that. It's awesome.
Well, some of the classics they throw out there, and with the anniversaries and things, I definitely could see those first three of the Indiana Jones doing that. I'd buy a ticket for those again too, to
Yeah,
go
in a
do that.
heartbeat. I know in a couple of years, with the 2027, I know they're going to do something for the original Star Wars film. You know, it'll be
Hmm.
its 50th anniversary, and I definitely will go do that, experience that on the big screen, because that's something that, you know, that changed, you know, movies. It's one of those films that kind of just changed the landscape of, you know, cinema for a lot of people. But that'll be an event. You know,
Oh
something I
yeah.
love. That's something I love about movies, when they really are, you know, events and experiences. And I can't wait for that because I'll have a ticket for that one.
Oh, absolutely. And those are those things that it's cool to be in a big group of people that are excited about, but positive and excited about the same thing, and
Exactly.
you're just there to have a good time. You know what's coming, but you're excited about it and just enjoying it with everybody. I'd go back for those two. The first one, so the first Star Wars I got to see in the theater as a kid was Return of the Jedi.
Okay,
so
gotcha. Yeah.
so I was too young for the others, but Return of the Jedi was the first one I remember going to the theater to watch. But definitely, so back in the '90s, they did a re-release of some of those before they came out with the new set of them, and so I did get to see them in the theater. But yeah, I'd definitely buy a ticket and go back to that again. Well, so talking about theaters, I have a joy of going to the theater, getting out of that, but I am not too afraid to admit I love being at home, the comfort at
Oh,
home, and watching
yeah.
a movie on here. Do you feel like you lean one way or the other if you had to choose a big screen theater or your home setup? What you would prefer?
I'm both, honestly. I mean, it's for theaters now, like I definitely want it to be a movie I'm interested in going to see, because I'm like you, I live in a smaller market area.
Hmm.
I got to drive an hour to go watch a movie in a theater. Um, it's a little bit of both, but yeah, no, I do love watching stuff at home. I love having home, video. I mean, I love being able to watch your favorite films, at a convenient setting. But yeah, it's hard for me to pick one or the other, really.
Yeah, no, I
I,
can understand that.
I
There's a time and
definitely,
place for both of them, right?
yeah, and you gotta, it is more convenient. It definitely is. Yeah, I don't know. It's
So if I
yeah.
don't if I don't pin you down to make you choose between one of those, one common thing that people start talking about is going to the theaters today and having some things that maybe are pet peeves or things that annoy them. Is there something at a theater that will get on your nerves
Oh
if you go
man,
to sit down and
yeah.
try to, if you're excited about watching this movie, what's something that will pop up that you're just like, oh, come on.
And it's weird. I'm Gen Z, but I'm not trying to like sound like arrogant about this, but like I really feel like an outlier sometimes of my generation. But you know, these things, smartphones,
Hmm.
whenever I see people, pull them out and those screens are so bright, like I'm like, come on, guys, like I get it, but be respectful to everybody else. Every time I see like a screen, pop up, I get I like there's a brightness setting on these things. It's
And some
really I
people, I
don't
don't know how they don't burn their eyes out. It's like
yeah.
so bright.
Yeah, I mean, it's people my age. I'm not gonna, and it's people in
Oh, it's
every
all
generation.
ages. It's
Yeah,
all ages.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna single out my but
Nope. It's all ages.
yeah, and I just that's one of my pet peeves. I'd say,
I'd agree with that one for
because
sure.
we definitely before smartphones, the flip phones were a little bit. I mean, I'm sure they had bright screens as well, but I'd say that though definitely. That's the only thing I've ran into really.
Yeah.
Certain things really, but
No, I'll agree with that 100%. And I've seen all age ranges, like all over the place. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be loud, but you have that really bright light just out of the
yeah,
corner of your eye,
it's
just
just
shining.
distracting. Yeah,
It pulls you away from what you're trying to watch. And I'm like, why are you even here? If you want to be
yeah.
doing this, but no, 100%. I am right there with you. I'm going to run through the chat just really quickly. Mika was saying, love discovering new creators, especially in the movie community. So thanks, Corey. Well, thanks,
Oh
Mika,
yeah.
for jumping out. I will say, I didn't say it before, but I do have Hagan's YouTube link in the description of the video. So please go check him out. Something we'll be getting to maybe a little bit later, but maybe some more things on the horizon to watch out for on the channel, but not holding you anything, but just from what we were talking about, we had Gizmo in here. Okay,
Uh-oh.
what do we got here? Corey, you have Coke
Oh.
under the nose. I see it. You know it. Mr. Naked is saying. So Mr.
I
Naked is my dog, so he always likes to call him Mr.
oh my
Naked.
goodness. Gizmo is out. See, I love his sense of humor. I think me and him would get along. I really do. I would love to be on one of his streams one day. He's definitely He is a character. That's
No, for sure, for sure. Love him to death, but I always joke with him. There's a certain point in the night that I got to start proofreading his comments before I bring him up on the streams, and he knows it. He knows what he's doing.
he
So
knows what he's doing.
yeah, he
Yeah.
knows what he's doing. So Gizmo, right there, you heard it, Hagan, on your channel. You know, it'd be cool, Gizmo. You need to make a comeback. Have Anthony, me, and Hagan on there. I think that'd be fun. We'll hang out,
I'd be
talk some
down.
movies, man.
Honestly, I'd love that.
That'd be fun. Got Connie in here, another great channel member saying, hey, everyone. Good to see you. Usarn G, another great channel member saying, hi, everyone. Gonna run through. If I miss anybody's chat, it's not on purpose. Just want to be respectful of Hagen's time and, just like go through here. But if I miss a question or anything you throw out there, please repeat it. I will try to get to it for sure. You're gonna skip that one from Gizmo.
Oh man.
Love you, man. Mr. Dan Horror and Horror, good to see you. Says, hey, Corey and Hagan, good to see you. We got Johnny in here. What's Johnny watching? Great, another great channel member. Thank you, sir. Holland Oates was saying hi. Oh goodness, Gizmo's gonna keep me on my toes. I'm trying to. Mika was saying, yes, we love the collective experience of watching films in the cinema. And there's something cool with that when it's all like people are all on the same page, like you said, they're not on their phones, they're not talking to other people, but they're interested.
Yeah.
And
In the moment.
yeah. Have you had any movie that you felt that more? And if you haven't, that's fine too. But like any that you went to and you're like, man, everybody's just into this one. And
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Think of recently ones. I know Once Upon a Time in Hollywood back in 2019. I remember
oh, nice.
going to watch that. I remember it was that was an awesome experience. Just the interactions with the audience in certain moments, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a great one. That was one I regretfully did not see on the big screen. So I hope it comes back someday and I can rectify that. I own it now and I've watched it multiple times, but that was one regretfully I did not see it on the big screen. So
Oh yeah, I'd imagine it with it being Tarantino. Yeah, it'll come back.
it'll come back.
But that one, and then of course COVID happened, and then theaters kind of between 2020 and 2022, they kind of had a down period. I'd say also, just thinking recently within the past 5 or 6 years, the Deadpool films, those those definitely give those are great experiences with an audience.
It's kind of fun with some of those where you laugh. I've had some times where I try to stay quiet, but like you laugh out loud and you're like, oh, did I just laugh out loud? But then you hear like multiple other people and you're like, okay, I'm good.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
There's other people did that too.
Yeah. And that's one of those things, of comedies. It's so subjective that, certain people are going to find something, funny
right
over somebody else or something funnier than what somebody else. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's I definitely know what you mean by that.
I will say one of the biggest ones I ever had was, so like I said, I'm older, and as my son was growing up and before he could drive, a lot of times it kind of got to be a tradition where I would take him and a few of his buddies. We'd go out for breakfast and they would have an early morning Saturday theater show that was a little bit less expensive, and they were following all of the Marvel movies, like kind of going up. And I still remember one of the last times I went with them was for Endgame, and that I remember a lot of gasps and like ahs and claps and whatever, like a lot of noise. Like you could just tell everybody was like in it. They were there to watch the movie.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely I watched the later half of the MCU kind of franchise. I know it's still going on, but that kind of peak time period.
Yeah.
And I definitely understand why people enjoy those films. They're definitely they're good movies. I watched Infinity War and Endgame in theaters. I didn't watch a lot of the other ones before that. So I kind of wasn't really in the knowing of like the storyline, because it's kind of like it's not like a huge continuing storyline, but definitely it's in the same universe with all the other films. But I definitely, they're definitely events, and that's one thing I do appreciate about movies like that, when it has that theatrical experience that can be great for everybody.
Yeah, and you're experiencing it with other people around you, and it's kind of fun. I guess they had Tony Basement Blues in here.
Tony, he is awesome.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a quick speed run through here. Chilo, what's going on, man? Saying hello, Corey. Hope all's well. And got the emojis, but I can't, it doesn't come up correct on the StreamYard. So sorry, man. But I appreciate you throwing those out there. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Mika was saying theaters for genres like our horror. Unfortunately, the cinema etiquette has been so poor, the home theater comes in for that. Yeah, where you miss those things. Or don't miss those things, but you avoid those things.
Yeah.
For sure. Got highs back and forth. We got Prince in here saying, "What up, guys? Good to see you, man." Tony is asking, "Hope you're doing all. We're doing well."
Back at you, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna try to speed run.
No, you're good.
Dan was saying, "I hate commercials after the trailers. Before, okay, but not after as well." Yep, too. Yep. That's one thing I've noticed at our theater. They've thrown in more commercials,
Oh,
whether
wow.
it's like cars or for like, we even have like emergency, like the immediate care clinics or
Are they like
whatever.
local? Are they like local commercials? Okay.
Some of them are, but like a Dodge truck commercial could pop up or
Wow.
something like that,
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had that here.
Verizon Wireless or something like that. So,
Hmm.
but you don't have too much of that then at your theater.
No, like I understand like the local commercials. I think I've had that happen a little bit. But nothing like the the big brand commercials, like like you said, like the car
Yeah.
commercials.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. The one I always want to ask about is they throw out there. So my theater, like I said, it's not a very big one, but some of the screens, the seating areas are bigger than others. And there's some pretty small ones, but they always have a commercial that pops up and says like, contact our media manager and you can do a private screening. Like you can rent it out and just have like your friends or like whoever you invite to it. I always think that'd be so cool to do, but I don't know how much it would be. So I want
Yeah.
to check that out sometime. But how cool would that be to?
Yeah. I mean, especially like if it's a movie that you don't know, debating if it'll ever get like a re-release, kind of like the
Yeah.
about it'd be a good way to have that, opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Prince wants to know, Hagan. Question. Who's the celebrity people say you look like? Do you have anybody that they say you look like a celebrity?
Oh, I've had people not like outside of family. My sister, I don't know. You ever heard of the show Outer Banks? You ever heard of that show?
Oh, yeah.
One of the characters in that show, his name is the character's name is Rafe.
Okay.
I think the actor's name is Drew Stark or something like that. But I've gotten comparisons to that actor, which he's kind of like an up and coming actor. He's not really, I don't think he's like big yet, but I know it's a big show, that's a popular show. But besides him,
but she's mentioned that.
yeah, besides him, I haven't had anybody else. Like, I think I've had people. That's really it. From what I can remember. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can't really think of anybody else. Yeah.
Anthony, thank you very much. I saw you throwing out links there for Hagan's channel and Johnny's channel.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Again, the link's in the description if anybody wants to check that out. Also got Jeff's in there, John Doe Juglows in there. Good to see you, man. Okay. I know I always promise I'm trying to run, but
no, you're good. No,
we got deleted scenes in here saying hi. Good to see you, man. I think I'm about caught up there. So YouTube, that's one thing, like I said, that's been a common thing where we ran into each other in live stream chats. I've seen you throw out videos of movies you watched recently, kind of doing a review, kind of talking about what you thought about them. It sounded like I don't want to put any words in your mouth or anything like that, but sounds like you're wanting to dig into the YouTube thing.
Yeah, like I posted videos, which if you check my channel, I haven't posted a whole lot recently. I was posting videos here and there because I really enjoyed watching other people do it, and I definitely wanted to give it a go. And you got to start somewhere, you kind of have to throw yourself into it and learn as you go. But yeah, I definitely want to get back into it more. I've been so busy.
Oh yeah,
the last few years I've I'm trying to find a day job that I can really stick with, and maybe grow with, and then also trying to um, do I'm trying to do acting on the side as well, which that definitely takes up a lot of time,
Oh
more than
yeah.
I imagined. But it's great though. I've really enjoyed it. But I definitely want to get back to posting more on YouTube, whether it be maybe like one or two videos every week or every 2 weeks, and just being involved in whatever way possible, whether it be through streams or just anything regarding that. Even if I'm not posting a whole lot, but yeah, I enjoy it though. I really enjoy just kind of showing, making content for people to watch, and then also just watching people's content and just kind of seeing their, their feedback, and maybe something that they recommend, like a movie or whatever it may be. It's a cool community to just kind of just chit chat about whatever and not feel too, I guess, not feel too insecure about it, or
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like you're gonna say the wrong thing. It's
Mm,
an open discussion type of thing,
yeah.
which I like. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Did you, when you dove into it, did you always think that you wanted to make some YouTube videos, or did you get into chats and then be like, hey, this looks like fun, I want to do that? Like did one, or you know what I'm saying? Like, did you always have the idea that you would, did you think like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, that you would be doing YouTube videos, or you were just like hanging out in chats and then we're like, oh yeah, I want to do that?
Uh, no, I really think I wanted to do it in a way, kind of to challenge myself too. I kind of
Mm,
grew up. I was kind of a shy kid growing up, and I definitely wanted to kind of. I think this is a great way to enhance your social skills. Your verbal
mm.
skills. Just
Public
talking.
speaking. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
I think it's a great, even though you're talking to a camera, even when
But
it's, but it really
know
helps
that
with
other
that.
people are watching it, and so you
Exactly.
still have that in your mind, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kinda like being like a news anchor,
Yeah.
I kind of I wanted to do it to kind of help with skills like that, to kind of feel less introverted and more outgoing whenever it was, needed. But that's kind of what really motivated me was to try to be better about public speaking and stuff like that, and be able to like talk about stuff that I actually like and was interested in, and something that I actually genuinely have a cool feeling about. And but nothing. That was my main goal, because I think that's something that can benefit you not only with all this, but just in everyday life. The more you can be uh, outgoing. We live in a world where it is made more for extroverts than it is introverts, and I definitely want to capitalize on that as much as I can. So I think doing this kind of helps me to be more outgoing and be more extroverted.
Oh
About
yeah.
stuff regarding that. So.
I'll agree with that 100%. I don't know if I originally thought I would ever get on YouTube myself, but I had fun getting into live streams at first. But then I'm like, hey, this seems like fun. I want to get out there. But I will 100% agree. I think that's helped with some of my public speaking things. Not that I still don't get nervous every time or
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's definitely helped with that and been a good thing. Um, so like that definitely being a benefit from it and being able to work on it. Is there anything that's popped up since you've been doing YouTube that was maybe a fun part that you weren't expecting, or maybe not? It's all right either way, but
Honestly, it's just finding new people, honestly,
yeah,
on YouTube that either like the similar things you like, or something that's you don't know about at first, but kind of delving into it and seeing, being able to make an observation about it and like
yeah,
seeing if, "Oh, okay, this is interesting," and then you delve into it more. But it's honestly just finding the other people that are doing this, like me and you are. It's
yeah,
that's really, I think, the most interesting thing, because I don't know. It's just you want to find other people and see what they're doing, and I'm more interested in other people than I am what I'm doing. I mean, I'm gonna,
I'm the same way.
I
I'm the
just
same way.
honestly, I don't. I think it's you want to see other people's
Yeah.
perspectives on things. I try to, at least, but that's really it. It's just the people, seeing what other people put out there.
I'll say that was a big surprise for me, as meeting so many cool people through this whole thing, like yourself. Uh, it's a great benefit that I wasn't expecting, and have met a lot of great people through the whole thing. And I'll agree with you 100%. I have almost more fun, I think, hearing about what other people are doing, and like us talking about what you got going on, it gets me excited because I love to see what your other people's interests are, where they're excited, what they're digging into, and it gets me feeling more excited about getting creative and digging
Yeah.
into some more things, or even just like talking about movies, like, oh, you saw some movie, I've never seen that movie before, and you talk about it, get me excited to go try to look it up and go watch the thing. So um I'm gonna do another speed run here really quick. We got
No, you're good.
a
You're
few.
good. I'm interested to see what the chat has to say. Yeah, no, it's all good.
We got highs back and forth. We got deleted scenes in here. We got links being dropped everywhere. Anthony, thank you so much for doing that. We got Eli Cortez in here saying hi. I think I missed your first one where you said what's up, everyone. But yeah, don't forget to slash the like button and sub to both of these awesome channels. We would appreciate it. Thank
Oh
you very
yeah,
much.
thank you.
Always good to see you, man. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody, especially if you're dropping in. And just looking really quickly. Um, where was I going to go after this? So you were hitting on a little bit of some of these other interests that are now like evolving, whether it's acting or filmmaking or short films or what have you. Um, where did you get the interest in acting or filmmaking? Is that something that you've had for a long time, or just digging into movies it developed, or
Yeah, I'd say around 15, 16 years old, I really was like, I was, watching movies and stuff, and I kind of had a shift in like a mindset of watching stuff. I was kind of like putting myself in some of these actors' shoes and like, I wonder if I could do that. I
mm-hmm.
wonder what it would be like to like give a performance like that,
Yeah.
um, or do a scene like this. Around like the time of 15, 16, I think one movie that really kind of like shifted my mindset was this movie. I mean, when I say this movie, it's a movie everybody knows, but Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh
That
yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember watching it at a friend's house one evening, and I don't know, it was just so magical, and I just fell in love with like the characters in that film, and that's just something that really kind of like ignited my curiosity, about wanting to delve into that, which I didn't start delving into it on until a few years ago, which I'm glad I did. But that was kind of like a point, I'd say around 15, 16, when I really kind of, my curiosity was growing with it. Um, I definitely had my doubts about it and insecurities, but I kind of got to a point where it's like, you know what, life's short. You got to kind of really just, you can't, you got to kind of like throw yourself out there with it, and I definitely did that. But I've been pursuing it more now over the past few years. I started taking classes, acting classes, that is, back in
Yeah.
2023. Um, so like, COVID had happened, um, and it was kind of a weird time to do stuff like that. I feel like for a lot of people, things were shifting. Like it's a completely different industry now after
Mm-hmm.
COVID, and a few of the strikes they've had a few like union strikes, but those have happened more than, of course, anything like COVID's happened. Um, but yeah, I started taking acting classes in 2023, and I was terrified. I was terrified to do it. I didn't even
Oh,
want
I'd
to.
be.
I didn't even want to walk into the actual building to do, where the classes were. But I was just like, you know what, you got to do, stuff that scares you sometimes. You got to just jump in and see what happens. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad I did. But I started taking classes in 2023. Um, and was going for a while. I'm not taking classes at the moment. I'd like to get back into some classes, just maybe some different areas, different schools they have. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I did that for a couple years, and yeah, it was awesome. I got to kind of really grow my confidence. That's one thing too. I mean, it's kind of like the public speaking. I struggled with confidence a lot growing up, and that's one thing that I think acting really can help with.
Yeah.
And you can. I mean, it's always a constant. It's a constant. I guess it's a constant project. It's something you're always having to work on.
Oh,
And
sure.
that's one thing that really why I delved into it too, was to kind of gaining more confidence in myself, because you got to be confident to act. You really have to do something that someone else is going to see and be like, okay, wow, and they
Right.
they got to believe you. So that's an ever going thing that you're trying to learn. But I did that for a couple years, and the industry is really kind of, it's in a weird place right now, but I've been able to book some stuff, thankfully.
Oh, nice.
There's this database that I learned about in my classes that you sign up for, and you're able to see submissions for certain projects throughout your region, and you can kind of filter that out depending on where you're living. But I've thankfully been able to audition for a lot of stuff, and be able to, it's one of those things too. You don't really, unless you're trying to do it, you don't really see the realities of certain things. But it's a lot. There's a lot of rejection with it. There's a lot of not getting what you want. And it's a long game. It's a
Oh, yeah.
marathon. It's one of those things you really have to be persistent with. You have to be patient with, and it will test that every day,
Oh,
every
yeah.
single moment that you're doing it. But I've been able to book a few things over the last few years, which I've been so thankful to have the opportunity to do. And especially, I'm kind of like in my beginnings, and um, I've been looking at a lot of people, especially now with social media and YouTube. I've been researching other actors and kind of seeing their journeys, and you kind of realize that while it's a different journey for every person, when you're first starting out, it's very similar. Where there's kind of like a unknowing, there's kind of a not knowing what's going to happen, this and that, and how you're not going to really have a lot of success when you first start out. It's really about getting the opportunities you can get when you do it, and then also creating opportunities as well. It's where I'll kind of segue into that. I think making short films is something that can really be beneficial just as a creative. You're trying to be, creative, but also just to kind of like get yourself out, out there and doing stuff, and not, glued to your phone
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
It's definitely me doing this. It's definitely a hobby. It's a hobby that I'm putting a lot of time into,
Well, a
of course.
passionate hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
got a lot of passion
definitely.
for it. And,
Because you want to be realistic about things as much as possible. And but trying to make some stuff now, I've gotten to the point where I realize, like, while I can get opportunities from other people, you got to sometimes create stuff as well. So
yeah.
that's something that I've really wanted to try to delve into more, and not be afraid to fail. You gotta really, you can't be afraid to fail to do something like this. A lot of things in general, but something like this, you have to really not be afraid to fail. You have to be willing to fall flat on your face,
Oh,
and
yeah.
have tons of people either see
Yep.
it in person or see it over, a computer or
Yep.
screen. But yeah, I don't want to get too much on a tangent, but yeah, I've been doing it
No,
over the
you're
past
good,
few
man.
years,
You're good.
and it's been so much fun. I've gotten so much more confidence in myself about certain things, and just being able to kind of just learn about just so many different things about the human condition that I think is, I know it's corny, but it's like
No.
it's something that really, I think acting, and it's weird because you're pretending to be something, but it's really something that I think can kind of connect you more if you're doing it the right way, if you're doing it for the right reasons, of course. But it can kind of connect you more with people, and I don't know, it's beautiful. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's a great way to meet new people. It's a great way to kind of just see, like, kind of like, us as humans in general, when we're trying to make something that's
Right.
something that can be something that someone can resonate with or be entertained by, of course, because it is
Yeah.
entertainment. But it's been such a cool journey, and just being able to do what I've done so far, with just starting out, I'm so optimistic about what the
That's
future can
good.
hold, and
That's
trying to
good.
definitely trying to keep a level-headed mind about it. But because that definitely, I know, will help, because I don't want to have myself too high or too
Right.
low. It's one
Yeah.
of those things that you have to be level-headed, and you gotta have thick skin. You gotta, be
Mhm.
persistent. You gotta be patient at the same time as well. It's one of those weird things. You gotta be patient about certain things, but you can't just sit back as well, and wait for things to happen. You kind of have to have that middle ground.
Mhm.
But anyway, I'll stop there. But
No, you're
it's
good,
something,
man.
yeah, you're good. Or no, it's good. But it's something that I think's been really cool to do. And I never really saw myself trying to do it until I got in my older teens. I'm glad I didn't have that interest when I was little, because I was one of those kids. I didn't really. I was more of an athlete. I played
Yeah.
sports. I was somewhat, I wouldn't say artistic, but I guess more studious. Like, I like to read a lot, and I wanted to always make good grades, stuff like that. I always wanted to have, um, I guess, a certain level of achievement. And that kind of comes with athletics too. But
Yeah.
I think diving into the arts more is a perfect time for me to do it, because it's kind of helped me to kind of see myself more in a certain way, and kind of see how maybe other people view me. And I don't know, just try to grow as a person, try to be a better person from it too. That's one of the other things I want to try to get out of it if possible. So
Absolutely. I will say 100%. I was more on the athletic side growing up, and I wish I honestly, if I could go back and talk to myself back then, I wish I would have dove more into drama, speech, some things like that, like getting out in front of people
yeah,
and doing stuff. I think it takes a lot of guts to do that, and I can completely see where that's well, for me anyway. It'd be intimidating to get out and do that, but I could see you're talking about taking those classes and getting out there and doing it, how just that repetition, like going through it, building confidence, that's could be a great thing. And you can carry that over to a lot of different things in your life, you
yeah,
know?
and it's one of those things like I don't you can't regret when you first start things like this because I mean, we do grow up in a certain environment, and we
Hmm.
are what our environment is. But until we get to the point where we have free will, of course. I mean, you get to that point as you're growing up, you know you can make your own decisions about things. But that's just kind of how it is. You know, you kind of are what your environment is until a certain point, and then you're able to kind of make your own decisions for yourself or your own choices. Like, oh, okay, this is interesting. You know, that type
Hmm.
of thing. So I don't regret like growing up the way I did because you're kind of placed into whatever environment you're kind of born into, and from there you get to a point where it's like, okay, I can do this. I don't have to do this. You know, I don't have to have this type of life that maybe somebody else thinks is necessary. You know, stuff like that. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, or just things you weren't, maybe, maybe you weren't ready for it at that time too, you know,
that too. Yeah,
and
definitely.
then you had your experiences and grew, and now you are ready for it. And, that's very cool. So like talking about all that, like, do you see yourself on either side of the lens? You know, like some people talk about like acting and only want to be in front of the camera. Some people want to be behind it, you know, directing or um,
I
more of the production of it. Do you have any interest one way or the other, or both, or
both
both?
honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
because I know I'm one of those people. I know I try to be as versatile as I can with
yeah.
whatever I'm doing because I know the more versatile you are, the more opportunities for stuff. But definitely both. I went to school and got a business degree, so I mean I've got that under my belt, which
Yeah.
is nice to have. But I definitely would love to dive into both. You know, it's I live in an area where it's not really. I live like a few hours away from a bigger market where a lot of that's going on. But for now, you know, I'm not really in an area where I can do that.
Hmm.
Be around like the bigger market of it, but definitely I would love to do both. Just where the opportunities are, you know, you kind of
Yeah.
it's one of those things you kind of have to. I definitely want to be adaptable as much as possible because this is an industry where adaptability is key.
Oh, sure.
It's really important, and I've just learned that from just seeing what I've seen on sets and just seeing stuff behind the scenes and stuff like that on the few projects I've been involved with. But you got to be able to adapt and be able to kind of learn quickly on your feet as much as possible. But yeah, the more you can do, the more you can kind of the more skill sets you can have, I think is beneficial in the long run. So
Yeah.
definitely both. Definitely both.
So I know definitely from what you're talking about, like being adaptable, like you'd probably go for, you know, be willing to try anything out. But do you have any particular roles or genres that would draw you more? That would
Oh,
maybe, but and that's not saying you wouldn't do any of the other ones,
yeah, no,
but
I know what you mean.
yeah,
No, genres, yeah. So, mm, I mean, I know everyone that's watching. This is one thing I do love. That's kind of like almost. And it's not everybody, but it seems like it's universally for everybody that does YouTube and that you know that loves movies and stuff like that. But you know, horror,
mhm,
definitely horror. I mean, I'd love to
yeah,
do something with horror. But besides horror, something that I definitely would love to do. I'd love to, you know, and this is a genre that I've delved into it this past year. I've delved into it heavily just because of a particular actor, Clint Eastwood. But
mhm,
'cause I really like his work. But westerns, I think that's a genre that I would love to see.
mm,
I mean, we still get westerns, you know, we still get projects involving that type of theme.
yeah,
I would love to see. I would love to be in westerns, whether it's kind of a more of a modern western, like a neo, you know, western,
yeah,
or
yeah.
even the kind of the you know the old timey classic stuff, you know, um,
But
from
they
back
even
in the
say
day.
like if you seen Hell or High Water.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that's
like
real
a
good.
lot of people will throw that as like a modern western, you know,
Mhm.
like you. it's very much modern time. I love westerns. I grew up with them, so I still love them a lot. But I always think of when people like throw out like a modern western, like Hell or High Water, like that's a feeling for me for like a modern western.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely horror and western. Those are the two
Yeah.
big ones I would love to like be involved with. For sure. Like definitely,
Oh,
like no doubt.
no, that's very cool. I love both of them, so I can not argue with you on that
What I
one.
was gonna ask, what's one of your favorite western movies? Like if you had to pick like one or two, like go
Ooh.
to.
Um, so a couple I go back to all the time. Open Range.
I haven't seen
Uh,
that one. I've heard of that. I haven't seen that one.
so, and I know it's not for everybody. I have some great friends that watched it. Some love it. Some think it's too long and too boring. So, which I can understand. It's a long movie, but I really enjoyed that one. Unforgiven. I always like going back to that one. Um, that one's a classic, I think too. But
Yeah.
one that I grew up, I went and saw in the theater with pretty much my whole family, but I still have fun going back to is Silverado.
Oh, I've heard of that one too. It's
Yeah.
man, there's some see that's what like there's so much stuff I still need to watch, but that's with Kevin Costner, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I got a couple Kevin Costner ones in there with
Yeah. Yeah, and
Unforgiven.
Open Range too.
Or
Yeah.
not Open Range. Yeah, not Unforgiven. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Silverado, that's one I definitely want to see. That's got a good cast. And
Oh,
I
there's
know
a ton of they have a ton of people in the cast for that
yeah.
one. But yeah.
And I think there's a nice I don't know if it's still sometimes these things go out of print, but I think Sony did a nice steelbook for it recently, but um
Yeah, I never ended up getting that. I have a Blu-ray of that, but
yeah.
it's a
Hey, it does
good.
the job. Yeah, no, it does the job. I don't
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I gotta check that one out. I'd say two of my favorites because I westerns I delved into heavily last year. Two of my favorites now that'll be like ones I rewatch for sure are Tombstone.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah. That's a good
Val
one.
Kilmer is amazing in that. I could watch just his scenes alone, and just and not get not get tired of it. Yeah, Tombstone's amazing. I love that film. It's one of those
So
just
many quotes too.
yeah, it's so quotable. Exactly, it's so
Yeah.
quotable. Like I literally want to go in the mirror and start like doing Val Kilmer scenes just because he's awesome in that.
Yeah.
But Tombstone and then The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
Oh yeah.
I love that one. That movie's amazing. Just the performances are great, but just the visuals. I mean, I want to like. It's one of those movies like if it's movies you love, you want to like dive into that world. You want to be in that world,
Yeah.
And that movie just the visuals are amazing. I would love to just be like in the background of a lot of those scenes in that film, and the music as well. The
Yeah.
music is amazing. The ecstasy of gold at the end of the film when they're in the cemetery. It's just a classic.
Yeah.
It'll always be a classic for me, and it'll be one I constantly go back to and watch whenever I get the chance.
It's hard to go wrong with some Clint Eastwood
Oh yeah,
westerns.
I
He's
love
got
Clint
some.
Eastwood. I love even his non-westerns. I'm trying
Oh
to watch
yeah.
all his filmography. I love Dirty Harry. But yeah, he's got some great stuff. He's had a great career.
Oh gosh, he's a huge career
Mhm.
spanning lots of decades. It's phenomenal. It's very cool to see. But yes, he at different ages or decades of his life having great movies come out at each one of them, I think so.
Yeah, I know he's
And
getting up
directing
there.
too,
Yes,
so
exactly.
yeah.
He's the talent. It's a bucket. I would love to meet him. I know he's getting up there in age, but
Hmm.
it's amazing. He's still kicking. But yeah, um, yeah. I would give everything to like meet him. I would give everything to like be an extra. Like
Yeah.
I know he directed a film not just recently, which he's in his 90s, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
The
Yep.
fact he's still directing stuff.
Yeah.
I would give anything to be even just like an extra in one of his films. Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah. I could even be like in the in the credits, it can just be something like man in back of bar or
Yeah,
something,
I
it
would
doesn't even
take
have a
it.
name.
I would take it,
I'll take
no
it.
doubt. Yes, me
I would
too.
do that. I would do that too.
Exactly.
Anthony's throwing some hard questions at you here.
Oh
There's a
my
lot of
goodness.
them too.
Oh wow.
So let's see here. What is your
Yeah.
favorite action film? We'll start with that. And we'll say I always like people always say give me a grief about it, but I'll say, you know, it depends when you ask me because my
Yeah.
mood might change some things. So even if it's not the favorite, like a top one for you, we'll
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
definitely. Definitely Point Break
Oh,
from the
nice.
90s. Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves, Patrick Swayze. Oh my goodness. I remember I watched that for the first time. It was on Netflix. It was on my laptop, which I would have loved to see that like on a big screen, but either way, I fell in love with it. I just the nonstop action,
That's a fun
the,
one.
the skydiving, the gunplay, the
Hmm.
explosions. Oh man, it's the surfing, and but yeah, Point Break definitely for action.
Oh,
um,
that's a great one. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that.
it's a classic.
How about
And then
horror film?
horror,
Wow,
horror film.
he's drilling you on all of them here.
Yeah, he's doing everything. I'm good. I'm open for it. Horror.
Like I said, it
Horror.
doesn't have to be favorite, but just like a top, like something you really enjoy.
Oh, um, probably. And this is more kind of. Uh, oh man, I'm trying to think of just straight horror. Horror. I'll do that one at the end. Let me go to the next
Okay,
one.
yeah. Comedy.
Comedy, comedy film. I talked about Jim Carrey earlier.
Yep,
I'd say
yep.
Ace Ventura, Pet
Okay.
Detective, or this the sequel when Nature Calls.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could quote that movie all day, but probably the sequel of that one. That's probably one of my favorites. Sci-fi, I love sci-fi.
Me too.
And there's
That was my
and there's so many blends, of different genres with sci-fi. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Terminator. I love the
nice,
Terminator.
nice.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorites, and I didn't watch that until like recently. I think it was in 2023,
Yeah,
a
that's all
couple years
right.
ago. But
That's all right.
that was amazing. That was, and I got to watch it in theaters too. I think a couple
Oh,
or a year or
nice,
so after that, and that was they had like a
nice.
35th anniversary release, but that was amazing to see on the screen. But
Yeah.
yeah, for sci-fi, drama film. Oh man, probably Shawshank Redemption.
There you go.
That's a classic, and
That's one of my favorites
yeah,
right there.
that or like Good Will Hunting. I remember
Oh, that's
just
good.
bawling my eyes out in certain scenes in Good Will Hunting, but also Shawshank. It's
Yeah,
when a story can make you cry. Like I mean,
yeah,
it's doing its job. And then I'm gonna go back to horror film, which
yeah, yeah.
this is kind of going to be kind of a mix. It's definitely got sci-fi in it,
That's
but
okay. That's all right.
Alien, the first
Oh,
Alien film.
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that counts for
yeah,
sure.
that movie. I got to. And speaking of that, I got to see that on the big screen as well back in
Nice.
2019. It was weird because I don't think it was a anniversary release. It was I don't know what it was, but it was in a
Well, they
theater.
just had it out.
Yeah, it was in a theater near me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch this, and that was amazing. That was the first time I ever watched it. Was in on a big screen, and I fell in love with it. But yeah, Alien. I love that as a horror film because the first one's definitely more of a horror film. It's more quiet.
Oh, for sure.
It's kind of like an isolated setting. And it's kind of like a slasher almost, where he's picking, the
Oh,
creatures
absolutely.
picking off everybody, one by one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
love Alien.
Anthony and I were actually just chatting about that the other day. We're definitely both Terminator and Terminator 2, both are great movies, but they have very different feels to them. And like
Yeah,
what you're saying, you're almost like your horror slasher film for the first, and then your action blockbuster one for the second. And I would almost say that as well for when you were talking about Alien being like the horror, but Alien to Aliens,
hmm
you kind of get that too, where it goes from like more of a horror to the action movie, and not saying it in a bad way, but it's just they got different feels between the
yeah,
two
and I
of
think
them.
that's good. I mean, it's bold choices
Yeah,
by the filmmakers, but I think it's great when they do that because it definitely it's something fresh, and that's
yeah,
something I think definitely is always needed whenever it is needed. It is needed.
yeah. I was gonna say hi real quick here. We got Ashley in here, Zombie Girl, saying hello. If you're still in here, thanks for. I know I fall behind here on the chat, but love it. Jeff was saying drama and being on stage are some of my fondest high school memories. I wish I
Oh
would have.
wow,
I wish
yeah.
I would have. I wish I would have done it. I honestly do.
I went
That'd
to a
be
small high school. We didn't even have anything like that. But yeah, it's something that you definitely you either have to love right away or you have to kind of ease your way into it. And I'm kind of the latter half with that.
Oh, I would be too. But even if it's, I think it's just one of those things, even if that's not a goal to pursue that into the future, I think you have so many um, skills that you can learn from doing it that could carry over to anything you do in your life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Talking, like learning, working with other people, cooperation, getting in front of people, public speaking, like anything like that. I think it would be beneficial. I wish if I could go back and tell younger Corey to try some things out other than sports, I would have done that. So
Yeah.
yeah, Big Al presents in here saying hello everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying the show. Yeah, definitely doing well here, my friend. I'm gonna do a speed run here. Nanette in here, member for 3 months. Thank you so much, Nanette. Question for Hagan: what are your top favorite genres?
That's a great question. Top five favorite definitely would be action. Um, this is more, I say action and probably thriller. Well, actually, I take that back. I mentioned it'd be action, sci-fi, thriller, and then horror, and then probably Western. I'd say
Yeah,
those. Say those.
I think you can hit a lot of fun stuff with all of those for sure. Big Al was saying Outlaw Josie Wells.
Oh,
That's a great one.
yes, that's a classic. I love that one.
And Pale Rider.
Another class. I mean, it's just classics one after the other. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Nanette was saying Tombstone is her second favorite Western. And then Prince likes
Yes,
Django Unchained.
yes, that's not. Sometimes I forget that's a kind of a Western. That's like a spaghetti Western, or kind of like what is it, like a homage to the spaghetti Western.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's basically like a Western in a unique way. But yeah, that's a classic. Another one I could rewatch over and over again. And I'm excited. I think Lionsgate's. I don't know when they'll do it, but I'm excited for a 4K of that. I'd love to, because I don't own it yet. In the collection, I definitely want to. I'm gonna hold out to that. It
yeah.
gets released, but.
Anthony was saying just sub to your channel. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for doing that. We got a lot of great Anthony's in here tonight. Mika was saying yes for the Alien love. Alien is top tier. Sigourney
Yeah.
Weaver, you can't beat her, man.
Oh yeah, and I love the newer. I know it's, again, movies are subjective, but the newer one, the Romulus one, I love that one.
I actually had fun with it.
Yeah,
I had a good time with it.
and I'm excited. I think they're doing a sequel, which that'll be cool to see what kind of story they continue with that. But yeah, I enjoyed that one in the theater.
No, I definitely had a good time with it. Johnny was saying T1 is better than T2. I said what I said.
Hey, no, I don't blame you for that answer. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Well, I can't argue too long about it because I like both of them a lot. So,
yeah.
that's funny. Connie, thank you so much. Member for 7 months. Thank you. Question for Hagan. What do you think of silent era? Have you dipped your toe into silent era films?
Is that based? I mean, I know it sounds like an obvious answer to a question. Is that kind of like the silent, like the actual like silent film?
Yep. I believe that's what she's asking for. Like the older, like like some of the, I think Charlie Chaplin had some of those,
Like that. Yeah, like I've seen like some shorts, I guess, not like not like feature length films from that time period, but more like the shorts. Which, I mean, a lot of things were shorter back then.
Oh, for sure.
Era, but I've seen like a few like shorts, nothing like huge. I've seen a few things, but nothing like crazy, nothing big or anything regarding that. I've watched a few movies. I don't go too far back. Like the furthest I go back is usually like the 50s.
Yeah.
I will watch quite a bit from the 60s. I kind of like that decade. It's growing on me as I've watched stuff, throughout time as I've been growing up. But yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot from the silent era. Just kind of like shorts, stuff like that. Nothing I can remember off the top of my head. But
I need to dig into it more too. But it's funny when you start watching some things and you're like, oh, okay, it's okay that I watched something older. I remember one time, like, I turned my nose up at black and white movies, but now, I know so many that I really enjoy a lot.
I know one I do need to check out because I'm pretty sure it's a silent film. What's it? Metro I can't think of it.
Metropolis. Is it
Metropolis.
Metropolis?
That's it. Yeah,
Was it?
Metropolis. That's one I want to check out. Yeah, Metropolis, because it's kind of like a silent film, and it's kind of like it's one of the more um, first like sci-fi films that was made, and it's had huge influences on future movies that kind of got a lot of inspiration from that one. That's
Yeah.
one I want to check out. Is that one definitely?
I've definitely seen things of that. I've not watched it either. So yeah, that'd be an interesting one to check out. I was gonna say, Jeff, thank you very much. He goes, yo, it's been 7 months already. Thank you very much for being a channel member for 7 months. I really appreciate it. Um, I know Prince that was in the chat here earlier. He always likes to ask questions of basically it boils down to like, do you have a comfort movie? Like one that, if you're in dumps or you want to just hang out and have a smile on your face or feel good about something, do you have a movie that you can just throw on that get you in a good spot?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, probably. I mean, probably one of the Indiana Jones films.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean that I could put that on any day of the week and just let it play. One, two, or three. Raiders, Temple of Doom, or Last Crusade. Honestly, those. I mean, those are kind of like my go to an island movies. Like if I had to only pick so many movies, those.
Yep.
I mean, those are on there, no doubt. But I'll go with Temple of Doom. I could like if that's on cable or on syndication, I can stop what I'm doing and just watch it, no matter where it is in the movie. So
Yep.
I'll say Temple of Doom, definitely.
I have some of those movies too where we've talked about that before. Like maybe it happened more before streaming, but now even still, like with cable, like if you're flipping through channels and you come across a certain movie, no matter where it's at in the movie, no matter how far along it is, that you'll just sit and watch the rest of it. And yeah, it's kind of fun to have some of those movies that you have a good time with it, and whether you're watching the whole thing or not, you've seen it so many times that you that
Yeah,
you're good with it.
yeah, it's
Um,
classic.
Johnny was saying Kino Lorber has release of Metropolis. I'll have to check
Metropolis.
that
Okay,
out.
yeah,
I'll
me
have to
too.
try to
Yeah,
track that down. Definitely, yeah. There's so many movies. It's one of those things that only so many hours in the day, only so many movies you can watch. But I know for a long time you were like just banging them out, man. do
yeah.
you do you have a right like if you don't, that's fine. But do you have you set up are you just going like, oh, that one looks good for tonight, I feel like that, and watch it? Or do you have kind of a watch list kind of that you've put together? Or
That's yeah. I
it's a
have
hard question. It's a hard question
no,
for me to answer.
no. You're good. Yeah, I have a watch list on Letterboxd. If you ever
Yeah.
go to my profile, it's over like 1,200 movies.
Yep.
I pick from that every now and then. But I kind of go into an open mind about it. I kind of like I don't want to like think too long about it. I just want to like that way I'm not wasting so much time trying to pick something out.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of times I try to be spontaneous about it and just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that, or I'm gonna watch that. But yeah, that's what I do most of the time.
Yeah.
Even though I have a ongoing watch list that keeps piling up,
We
but
all do.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I don't. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
But that's one thing that I've kind of joked about before too, where it's good just to dive in and just start watching something, because you get in those modes where whether it's looking at movies on your shelf or flipping through the streaming service, that you spend a half hour trying to find something to watch, and you already could be like a third of the way through a movie, and you're still like flipping through stuff, and
Yeah.
it's good to just dig into that and go. Nanette was saying you might want to check out The Lost World since you want to watch sci-fi. Hagan.
Okay. Is that The Lost World? I wonder if that's. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know we're kind of hitting time we talked about. You good for just a couple more questions, and we can wrap her up for the night? I don't want to keep you too
Yeah.
long, but
That's cool with me. Yeah. I gotta. Yeah, I gotta get. I haven't eaten tonight, but yeah, I gotta eat something soon. But yeah,
no, I don't want to keep you too long. I know we were
Yeah.
talking about that, so
No, yes,
that just
yeah.
means we can do this again at some time and hang out if you feel
yes.
up for it.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Do you have Do you have any actors or actresses that when you see their name pop up, whether it's an older movie you haven't seen before or a new one coming out, that you're just like, I got to watch this because it's that person? And if you don't,
Um,
that's fine too.
yeah, no, it's cool. Like I kind of past actors, I guess I would say definitely Clint Eastwood. I'm trying to
Yeah.
run through his filmography.
Yep.
Him, uh, anything with Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
definitely Harrison Ford. Newer actors, I'd say Glenn Powell. He's someone I like a lot.
Yeah.
I kind of check out all his stuff that he puts out or that he's in or whatever. But Glenn Powell, I want to mention some actresses. There's this girl. She's not really big yet. I think she will be big though. But her name's Kaylee Spaney. I don't know if she was in
Oh, yeah.
she was in Alien Romulus, and then
Yeah.
she's been in a few other things that I've enjoyed. Priscilla. I think I like her stuff. I'm always
Yeah.
interested to see what she's doing. She's actually got a TV series that she's starring in called Beef, coming out in a
Okay.
couple weeks. I think it's gonna be on Netflix, but she's an actress I really like to watch because I think she's really good. Let me name a few more actresses. Uh, Sharon Stone.
Oh, yeah.
I like her a lot. She's really good. The Quick and the Dead, Total Recall.
Absolutely. You got your
Um,
sci-fi there and your Western.
and then what's the movie she was in with Michael Douglas?
Oh, Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct. That's another
Yeah.
good one. And
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, he's another one I like. And then another actress I'd say would be hmm, another actress. Emily Blunt. Emily
Oh,
Blunt.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she's got a new movie coming out, Disclosure Day with
Yeah.
Steven
Another
Spielberg.
more
I like
sci-fi for you. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
I like her a lot too. She's in a lot of projects that I really enjoy.
You ever watch Edge of Tomorrow?
Yes.
Or
Oh yeah.
oh,
That's yeah.
I love that one with
Yeah.
them.
She's a really good actress. She's really good.
When you were throwing out Michael Douglas, when you're talking about thrillers or some of the other movies, have you ever seen The Game with him?
Yeah,
Okay,
I watched
okay,
that. I think that
okay.
was like at the end of 2024. I
Yeah,
watched that, I believe.
yeah, that was a great one. Or Falling
Yeah.
Down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Falling
That's
Down.
cool.
Oh my! I could have a whole live stream about that movie. I love that movie. I think that movie relates to so many of us in our lives or jobs. Sometimes that
Frustrations.
movie exactly. It's
Yep,
so relatable.
yep.
And he's a character that he's a definitely he's kind of like a vigilante. He's a character that you don't want to root for, but you can't help it sometimes. Just
There's like
seeing
sometimes you can understand the frustration, but you're like you're going too far, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a movie I wish more people would see. I think that's
yeah,
a really underrated movie. I think for like people that are in the community that watch movies and stuff, I think we know about it, but that's a movie I wish would get more recognition. Yeah, I
yeah,
love that film. I love that movie a lot.
yeah. Him and Robert Duvall, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's got a lot of good work too. I know he
yeah,
passed recently, but
yeah.
he's a good actor.
Yeah. So I don't forget here, Nanette was saying that Lost World is a silent film, and Johnny was throwing
Oh,
out there 1925 by
okay.
Harry Hoyt. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up too. I have not seen that one. So that's why I love the chat. There's like always some great suggestions coming out, or when I can't think of something, usually somebody in the chat will throw out the answer before I can think of it. So
Yeah.
I always appreciate that so much. But like I said, I know, like you said, you hadn't eaten tonight, and we were going another time.
Sorry.
But what do you see coming up with the channel? Anything in particular that you're looking to get rolling in the near future? Or
Mainly, I'm gonna try to post some videos. It's just with life sometimes. I just don't. I'd like to be consistent with it, but I can't really
yeah,
guarantee that. Maybe try to post a couple of videos here and there, whether it be every week or every other week, every 2 weeks, something like that. And then trying to get in some more live streams, like this.
yeah,
I think that's something I really love doing. And then another point besides those two would probably be because I mentioned I do like acting and filmmaking. I think I may try to if I have like some short films I work on with people that we
yeah,
want to share. We want to share out. I think YouTube's a great place to kind of I
Oh
guess,
yeah,
display stuff like that. So I may if I make some short films and stuff like that, I may post them on here as well.
that'd be
And
cool.
and open to any feedback, honestly. I'm not, I know people kind of get kind of weird about feedback on stuff or like, their thoughts, but I'm open. I mean, people are gonna have their opinions, and
Yeah.
they have a right to that. So that's, but I may do that as well. So, but that's
Well,
really that's the only things I really have in my mind about the channel that I do. It's just kind of like those three main points.
no, absolutely. And I absolutely love seeing people be creative and following things they're passionate about. I wish I did some things or more things like that. But so yeah, if you ever have anything pop up, don't be shy. Like let me know when if you throw anything out there. I'd love to check it out and put it out there too to help share it around. But
Yeah.
and then definitely would love to have you back on and talk about where things are going. And we definitely Gizmo, Anthony, you and I,
I,
we gotta
yeah. No,
we gotta
that's gonna
hang out
happen.
sometime.
That's definitely gonna happen. No, yeah, I'm down as long as I can fit it in my schedule.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm always down for streams. I think they're awesome. I love
Uh,
them.
I have a fun time with them. Nanette was asking, have you ever seen the movie Don't Say a Word? I've
I
not.
think so. Yeah,
That's a
I
Michael
haven't.
Douglas. I was just looking it up. I had to cheat and look it up, but
No, you're good. No, yeah,
2001, it says crime action. So
yeah. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah,
I'll
no,
have
I haven't
to
heard of that one.
I'll have to check that one out too. So and Tiana jumping in here saying hi everyone. But well, I tell you what, I probably kept you for a bit tonight. I'll
No,
say it's always fun. It's fun hanging out with you, man.
yeah,
I really appreciate you coming on and doing this, and hopefully we can do it again in the future. And I'm looking forward to anything that you're dropping on the channel. And I'll say again, anybody that is not subbed up to Hagan, and if you haven't checked out his channel, please do. The link is in the description of the live stream, so please check it out. And yeah, go from there. So
no, yeah. I just want to say, yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Corey. Yeah, this
yeah,
is it's so much fun. Yeah, I just thank you for your time, and yeah,
mm,
this is awesome.
well, I always say you don't have to twist my arm too hard to talk about movies and like things like that. So it's fun to have somebody else that's excited about it and wants to talk about it, and then get the chat jumping in with it too. So, but yeah, with that being said, if you don't mind hanging out for just a second after we go off live,
Yeah,
I'll just say everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Great group in here tonight. Appreciate all your participation, hanging out with us, and having a good time. So, yeah, so love you, and we'll catch you all here really soon.
thank
So,
you guys.
yeah, thanks again.